homes up, man. It's a great thing, man. Yeah, I see what we got to go through when we put up homes. And I never seen a woman on a construction site. Never. They talk about men and women are equal. I've never seen a woman on a construction site doing this type of work. You laughing? It's true, ain't it? I ain't never seen a woman on I ain't never seen a man have a baby. I ain't never seen them. I don't care how much they tell you women and men are equal. We both have different jobs. Different jobs. Men build a home, women make it a home. But anyhow, I wanted to tell y'all, man, that I'm doing part two right here of basically you have to hold on a minute. Uh, you have to realize that a lot of what goes into life is mental, man. A lot of what goes into life is mental. So basically what I mean by that is I'm manifesting my wealth and everything. Basically, like 2019, I had said I had started a hashtag I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck anymore. And that correlates to what Jesus said about don't worry about nothing. Don't worry about nothing. Don't worry about what you're going to eat, what you're going to drink. Basically, do not give a fuck. Jesus was trying to tell you, man, don't give a fuck. Jesus was trying to tell you, do not give a fuck. All right? So basically, what that means is don't worry about nothing. Stop worrying about everything. Okay? So what I did, because I was living in a big house, bigger than this house right here that they building. I was living in a house bigger than this with my lady at the time. And we had two BMWs. I had a BMW convertible. She had a BMW 528. You know, couple trucks, warehouse. I'm doing construction. She doing nursing, or she in the medical field rather. And we doing decent in life, going on vacations and everything. And I just got burnt out, man. I'm like, this ain't it. I'm like, this is not it. You know what I'm saying? On the outside looking in, our life looked perfect. But it wasn't it, man. It wasn't it. So basically, what I had did was I went on a journey to try to figure out what would make me happy. What would really make me happy. And, I just started to remember a lot of biblical scriptures and stuff like that. And, I was watching a lot of videos about people being nomadic, going off grid, which I've been watching, I've been doing and stuff like that. And one of the things that I came to the realization of, the main thing I came to the realization of is to stop worrying. Stop worrying, stop thinking about what you're gonna eat, what you're gonna drink, how you're gonna work, how you're gonna pay your bills, how your baby's gonna eat. Just stop worrying about everything. Now, I will say this. What I'm about to tell you only works if whoever you're around agrees with you. If whoever you're around don't agree with you with this, it ain't gonna work. And that's what's gonna cause problems, strife, your energy being off, all that type of stuff. Okay? So I had come to the realization that I needed to find myself, and I needed to find my element. Okay, I needed to find my element, because that element of just living in a house, eating, sleeping, shitting, fucking, going on vacation, the typical lifestyle, it wasn't making me happy. It was not making me happy. And the first thing that you have to do is you have to tell yourself, what would you do if you could do it for free? You would do it for free. What would you just keep doing? If nobody paid you to do it, you would do it. You had millions of dollars and you was doing this thing. Nobody paid you to do it. You just wanted to do it. And the thing that I came to the realization that I would do is live off grid, garden, and farm. If nobody paid me to do it, if if somebody said, hey man, I got some land out here, you could live for free, do whatever the fuck you want to do. Just do what you want to do, man. You just come out here, live for free. If life wasn't a situation where they said live for free, do whatever the hell you want to do, um I would go off grid, grow my own food, um and live off the land. So I said, you know what, that's my journey, that's what I'm gonna do. And I love this color, by the way, that they put on this house. This is a gorgeous color. It's like a teal. See, this is like a teal. The one down there is a gray. See the difference? See, that right there is a gray. The gray is played out. The gray is played out. This teal with the white trim around the windows, man, that is beautiful. That's everything right there. But I had said to myself, I said, if somebody gave me a pickup truck, a beautiful woman, a beautiful life, some beautiful babies, what would matter to you? It wasn't no Rolls Royce, Mercedes Benz. It wasn't no nothing like that. It was strictly to be off the system, not have to pay anybody, not have to work to pay anybody for anything. Just my labor, my sweat on my brow, produce my own food. You know what I'm saying? Basically live like the Amish. My dream has always been, from I was 21, I can remember my dream has always been to live like the Amish. And I always wondered why people don't try to live like the Amish. I've just always wondered why. Like this, it's always baffled me. Why people complain? It's always baffled me. Why the fuck do people complain? Why the fuck do people complain? That has always bothered me. Okay? When food is free. Food is free. You could grow it yourself. Water is free. You could dig a well or catch your own rainwater. A lot of this shit is free. It's absolutely free. I'm like, why do people fucking complain? Transportation is free. Get you a fucking horse. Get you a fucking horse and buggy. Get you a fucking horse and buggy. Transportation is free. Get you a bicycle. Get you a solar fucking they got the solar bicycles now that they're a car. They're called ELF, ELF, and I missed the deal on one for $150. They're like $2,000, $4,000. This lady had one sitting in her yard. I think a family member or something just passed away and left it or whatever. And like she just wanted to get rid of it, $150, and I freaking slipped. I slipped on that one. Like I hit her back like 30 minutes later on Facebook Marketplace, and somebody else was already on the way to get it. I should have sent her the money. I ought to have sent her the money, because she had a 5.0 rating on Facebook. I ought to have sent her the money and then tell her I'm on the way. But anyhow, so basically, if you say you want to be a beautician, just put that in your mind. I want to be a beautician. I'm not saying to do anything for free. I'm just saying, what would you do for free? Be a beautician. If you say you wanted to be a singer, just be a singer. What I did, I said, fuck it, man. I became nomadic. I started looking at land. I started to think about, because I had already did this. And came up. I had actually owned a house and everything. And I thought that was a flex, you know what I'm saying? And I realized, man, I got to go back to what make me happy. You know what I'm saying? But I just wanted to really do it this time. This time I wanted to have a real farm, a real ranch. I wanted to really do it. And I just started to manifest that, put that into my existence, speak it into existence, because I realized that's my element. Okay, I realized that is my element, right? And remember, I had just did a video that went viral about being in your element. It's all about being in your element, man. What's up, Gabriel? It's all about being in your element. So basically, being in your element means that you have to do what makes you happy. You have to be where makes you happy. So a lot of times, basically, like I said, people, you live in places that is not conducive to your growth. You live in places that are not conducive to your growth, around people that are not conducive to your growth. You're at a job that is not conducive to your growth. It's not your element. Okay, so basically, um, you might have to move out of your house into another house, in another city, in another county, in another country to find your element. Um, to be honest with you, anything you want to manifest, you have to just be completely open to it. If you say you want this particular type of man or woman, that particular type of man or woman might not live in your city, your county, your state, your country. They might live in a whole nother country. Okay, so basically, if you are a balanced person, you're not toxic. I'm not talking to toxic people, or if you're not a toxic motherfucker, you know what I'm saying. And toxic people are on all levels. You got rich, poor, toxic people. You have educated, toxic people, non-educated, toxic people. I know educated about the people that are toxic as fuck. Okay, so I'm talking about balanced people, people with a high degree of spirituality, people with a high degree of ethics, moral, honor, principles. These are the people I'm talking. I'm not talking about the people that poison their body. Shit. I'm not talking about the people that poison their body with drugs and alcohol all the time and over sexualize and have addictions, sex addictions, alcohol addictions, drug addictions. I'm not talking about these people. I'm talking about balanced people that they control their life. Their life don't control them. Okay? This are people that I'm talking to. Okay, you can manifest anything, but you have to be open to whatever the universe has for you. Okay, so you cannot say you want this, that, and a third and be like, well, I'm not moving out my house, I'm not moving out my city, because the woman I was with at the time, what I'm saying, her thing was she's not going to move out her house. Okay, so I immediately knew that it wasn't going to work. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm trying to manifest more and better, and she want to stay in the same situation and position that she's in life. But yet, how people would say, I want better, they want better, but they don't want to do the things to become that, or they think just getting a better education is going to help them. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't realize it's a whole spiritual journey. Okay, so basically, um you have to come to the realization that um whatever you want, if you just want something basic, okay, it might be right next door. It might be a neighbor right next door that can help you with that. Your neighbor might right next door might be your lover of your life. Okay, the house down the street may be the house of your dreams. But if you want something deep, you're looking for something specific. Whenever you're looking for something specific, you have to realize that it might not be, hold on. Whenever you're looking for something specific in life, you have to realize it might not be in your city, in your state, in your country. Okay, it might literally be miles away, hundreds of miles away. Okay, I had to find my life, what I want, what I need, what I've been manifesting in North Carolina. I had to move from Florida to North Carolina. I had to move from Florida to North Carolina. I was born in Jamaica. If it took me going back to Jamaica to find it, I would have went back to Jamaica. Okay, but life took me to North Carolina. Okay, it took me to North Carolina, and I instantly knew it. It took my whole immediate family. It took my son and my daughter here too. It took them here first via their mother. You know what I'm saying? And then I followed, and it was just I just instantly knew North Carolina was where I was gonna start my roots. Start my roots. Okay, I knew I would find the love of my life here, like all of that. It just happened, and I just kept pushing, pushing, pushing. So what's gonna happen to you is that you're gonna want something, desire something. You're gonna have to feel a purpose. You're gonna have a purpose. You're gonna feel your purpose. Okay. A lot of people have the purpose of helping others, but they're like, shit, I can't help nobody because shit, they feel broke themselves. They need help themselves. Okay, and even the Bible tell you money cureth all things, basically. So it's like, how do you get money, man? How do you, get money to start your purpose, whatever, whatever? You have to do as the Bible say. You have to not worry. You have to literally just start your purpose. I was living in my truck. I was living in my old beat up pickup truck under a tree in a park. And I always, like I said, that be out on the land. Okay. And I just started posting on Facebook, hey, who else wanna buy land? Who else wanna live off the land? Who else wanna leave the system? Get with me. Like 10 of us, we could do this. We could buy some land together. And people was like, yeah, I would do, I want to, blah blah blah. But people, they fall off. They ain't really about it like they say they are. You know what I'm saying? So it ended up being just me. It ended up just being me. And I ended up doing it by myself. I ended up buying my first piece of land with like $350 down, $400 a month. And I sold that land, and 3 to 6 months later, I bought it for 9,000. I had it on a contract for 9,000, and a neighbor down the street, down the road, bought it for 16,000. Long story short, I walked away with $4,500, which I reinvested, 700 into Bitcoin. Bitcoin went to 17,000. I did a lot with that money. Okay. So anyhow, long story short, I realized I had to go back to that. I had to go back to the land. I had to go back to the land. That's where my peace was, is, and where I want to be. And I had to have a woman that had the same mindset. Okay, so that's why I keep saying a lot of times you're not manifesting, you're not being where you want to be because you're around the wrong people. You got the wrong woman in your life, you got the wrong man in your life, you living in the wrong house, you living in the wrong neighborhood, you living in the wrong city, you living in the wrong state, town. Okay, if you go deeper with it in numerology, astronumerology, specifically Chinese astrology, and numerology, um, you will find that it's connected. So people that are, see, America is a monkey country. In Chinese numerology, America is a monkey country. So people that are born in a monkey year will thrive in America. They will flourish in America. Okay, America is also a law country. Law represents four. Okay, so people that are life path four or have four strong in their numerology, they'll thrive in America. Okay, people that have four, something like that. All right. So anyhow, it doesn't really matter the numbers or the animal. Y'all get the point. If America was a dragon country, America would be great for dragons. All right. So if you really want to get real deep into it, you could find out your astronumerology chart and actually find out where you are supposed to be living through that, or start that way. Okay, you could start that way. Okay. It might take you Going just like a relationship, it might take you going through a bunch of relationships to find the right one. It might take you living in a bunch of different places to find the right place. Okay. And I get that, you don't want to uproot your babies all the time, moving around all the time, which is why I recommend people travel when they're young. I always recommend, man, people when you 18, 19, 21 years old, whatever, especially you don't have no babies or no connection. You might have one baby or a few babies, but no real connection to where you at. You're able to move around, man. You and your babies, y'all go, man. Travel, travel. You want to sit down?
No.
Travel, okay? Because in traveling, you are going to eventually find somewhere that resonate with you. Okay, you're gonna find a town, a city, a state, a country that resonate with you. Like instantly, you're just you're gonna feel like, man, I don't know where the fuck I'm at, or what the hell is going on right here, but you're gonna feel like, man, I need to be here. This is where I need to be. Okay, you're gonna feel that. You're gonna feel like, man, this is where I need to be. When I when I rode through North Carolina about 10, 11 years ago, and I had rode through North Carolina a lot from I was 21 years young, and but off 95, you know what I'm saying? Run through Fayetteville, but I had never rode the coast. So this particular time, about 10, 11 years ago, I rode the coast coming down from Virginia. I said, man, I ain't in no rush. Let me ride down the coast, down the beach. I never did that. And I was like, wow, North Carolina is a hidden gem. North Carolina got better, cleaner beaches than Florida. And I knew right then North Carolina was going to be my home. And my baby mom, who I was, with at the time, she agreed. Now it took a while. It took about 7 years, but we finally made it to North Carolina, and you know, now it's like people coming to North Carolina in drones. North Carolina is the fastest growing state. It's just something about North Carolina. But I had already felt it. I had already been felt it. I don't know if North Carolina gonna be the refuge of America, the only place in America that still stands. I don't know what it is about North Carolina, but I just know North Carolina, man, is where it's at. Now, it might not be North Carolina for you. It might be Florida. It might be wherever the fuck the universe takes you. I've spoken to people, man, I feel like Africa's calling me. I've spoken to people that feel like South America. You got a lot of Americans moving to Mexico, South America. You got, people just Africa. Khalees, she moved to Africa. You got Khalees. She used to be with Nas, the singer, rapper. You got people just following their heart. I knew a brother. He went to India. He went to India. You know what I'm saying? An American black brother. He went to India. I said, "What you doing in India?" He's like, "Man, this is where my soul is calling me in India." Okay, so you just gotta go, man, where your element is. You gotta go where your element is. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta leave your family. Sometimes you gotta leave your family behind. Sometimes you gotta just go make roots, then come back and get your family. You know what I'm saying? But when I had went back to Florida to my old house, two old houses, the one I grew up in from I was 14 to like my teenage years, and then the other one I grew up in my early 20s. I'm like, man, if I had stayed here, I'd have been so stagnant. I'd have still been fucking probably trying to figure out life. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, dang, that's why my brother could never figure it out, man. He could never figure it out. My brother moved out our childhood home when he was like 45, not too long ago. And it really affects you. It really affects you. The house you're in, the numbers on the house, the energy of the house, the people in the house, all of that affects your growth, man. It affects your growth. Okay. So basically, What you want to do in life is you want to get to a point where you just say you don't care, you don't give a fuck. Not to say you don't care in a sense of you're heartless, okay? Not to say you're heartless or anything like that, but you just want to get to the point with man where you like fuck this car note, fuck this car, fuck this house. You want to detach from material things. You want to detach from people. Not to say you don't love material things, not to say you don't love people, you don't love your family, you don't love your babies, but you have to detach in a degree, in a way that you know all is well. You know that you have to stop stressing. When you stress, it creates more stress. When you feel overwhelmed, it creates more overwhelmingness. The whole idea is to not worry. Like the Bible say, don't worry. The whole idea is to not worry. And by you having a car, by you having that car note, by you having that job that's not paying enough to pay your car note, pay your house note, pay your rent, buy food, buy gas, all you're going to do is worry. So you have to almost get to a point in life. And I'm not saying to get up and go sell everything and go live in your car and go live on the streets and be homeless or anything like that. But you almost have to put yourself in a position in life where you're just happy. You're just happy without, let me be specific, without material things. So I got rid of all the material things and all the people that I would be happy without. Okay, I realized I would be happy without actually living in a house. I realized I was happy living in my truck. I didn't need a house. I had transportation and I could stretch out. I realized I was happy. I realized I didn't need certain people in my life, certain family members. I realized all I needed was my son and my daughter. That's what I realized. All I needed was my son and my daughter. I realized I didn't need certain clothes, certain shoes. I just needed some boots. I didn't realize I didn't need a fancy vehicle. I got rid of my BMW, which I had really bought for my son. But I just realized all the material things, because I was paying insurance on a BMW. I was paying, you know, I was paying, uh, you know, rent and all this type. Not even say rent, but any long story short, I got rid of. I'll tell y'all what happened. So I was basically living with my baby mom in her house, and it was like, hey, you need to chip in, which I was. But I said to myself, you know what? Because I keep telling her, I don't like paying rent. I don't like renting. I don't even like to live in a house. I'm like, if we do this, we gonna do this my way. She down with that. So, you know what? She talking shit to me anyway. It's not gonna work anyway. I'm gonna take myself out the equation. Let her pay her damn rent and water bill, light bill, and all this type. Let her fucking stress. I'm not gonna stress. I'm not gonna stress. Okay? I'm not gonna stress. I'm gonna go get me some land, live on my land, and put me a cabin on there. Brand new cabin. I put brand new cabins on there with uh bathroom, kitchen, everything. Matter of fact, I bought my daughter her own cabin, my son his own. Anytime they really wanted to come out on the land with me, it was fine. They never did come. Me and their mom kept getting into it, whatever, whatever. But anyhow, long story short, for what I would have been paying her to help her with her city life, I was paying a fraction of that in brand new cabins, living my country life. Okay? It was the best move I ever made. So, what I'm saying is the moral of the story is a lot of this shit you don't need, man. A lot of this shit you think you need, you don't need. It's what's holding you back from progressing. Okay? It's what's holding you back from progress. Okay? A lot of times you have to go backwards to move forwards. You got to move backwards to move forwards, man. You got to move backwards to move forwards. It's kind of like you as a person on a job, they working hard on a job, they trying to come up on a job levels, and then the job is like, hey, you want to go to this level, you got to go back to school. You like, go back to school? Man, I know how to do the job. Yeah, you know how to do the job, but you know the job requires education and a degree. And you like, damn. So going back to school is kind of like going backwards. Even though technically we always in school. Whole life is a lesson. Life is a school. But anyhow, a lot of times you gotta go, if you want to go further faster, a lot of times you gotta go backwards. You gotta go backwards and figure out where you made the wrong fucking turn and then make the right turn. Because if you keep going the way you fucking going, you are about to crash the fuck out. That's why people get houses, and they get beautiful houses, they get foreclosure on beautiful cars. You know how many people I know, man, have the perfect dream life, the cars, the husband, the wife, the babies, everything, and lose it all. Lose their house, their car, their babies, their husband, their wife. They lose it fucking all. Even the Bible tell you, the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh away. If you don't get things the right and proper way, it's not yours. It's not yours. Okay? It's just a matter of time before the market corrects. Like how they say the market corrects. It's just a matter of time before life corrects itself, which life always corrects itself, and life do a check and balance, and like, what this motherfucker doing with this house and this car? We ain't, nah, we not doing that. Boom, gone. Yeah, I wanted them to have that house and that car, but the way they got it, nah, we ain't doing it. We ain't doing that. See a motherfucker get away with shit for years. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Be in a relationship 30, 40, 50 years. And the universe all of a sudden do a correction. No, you're not for him. He's not for you. Y'all knew that a long time ago. This house is not for you. You knew that a long time ago. That's why you keep having problems in this house. Okay? Yeah, you was born in this family, but this family is actually not for you. I've been told you to leave this fucking when you turn 18 and move out and go over here. Life will do a whole fucking correction on your ass. Life will do a whole fucking balance the checkbook shit on your ass. Okay? That's why you have to follow your purpose, your deep purpose. If you're doing anything other than your purpose, it's not going to work. It's not going to work out. I'm going to say that again. That's a gem. Write it down. If you are doing anything other than your purpose, you will be miserable. It's not going to work out. If you are with anyone that makes you unhappy, you are going to be miserable. You are going to be stagnant. I know the sex is the bomb.com. I know that coochie is tighter than a monkey's ass. I don't know what a monkey's ass feel like. But I know that dingling bigger than a damn fucking baseball bat. I know the sex is the bomb.com. But if that's not your person, that's not your person. Okay? I know the house is big and beautiful. I know it's your dream house. You can't believe you got this house. But if that's not your house, that's not your house. I lived in this house 20 years. How the bank just gonna take the house from me? Maybe that was your mom's house, your dad's house, whatever, the house you grew up in, but you always had trouble in that house growing up. You know what I'm saying? That's not your house. You see what I'm saying? You have to realize your element, man. Everything is about your element. You're not thriving, you're not flourishing because you're not in your element. You're not in your element. You're not in your element. That is why you're not thriving and flourishing. You're not in your element. You have to find your element. You have to be in your element. I'm telling you this from experience. Look at these grays, man. You think I got these grays because of fucking being comfortable in life? These grays is experiences, man. These grays is wisdom. He who heareth my voice and come to me will be very wise. However they say it. Whoever hearkens onto my voice. You got to get in your element, man. You got to get in your element, and you got to stop fucking around in places that's not, that's not your element. You know that city's not your element. You know that country's not your element. You know that house is not your element. I know people bought beautiful houses for their babies, and their babies don't want the house. They don't want the house. I know a lady bought a house, had a house. She like, man, I bought it for them to live in a big, beautiful house. Them babies they wanted to go live with their father. They went and live with their father. Okay? Telling you, man, they sold you this white picket fence, big house bullshit. That's not for everybody. They even sold you, this thing about being with somebody. I strongly believe not everybody's purpose is a relationship, is a, you know, marriage type of relationship or a long-term relationship. I truly believe some people are meant to be hermits. Some people are meant to just fulfill their purpose, do what they're supposed to do, and move on in life, transcend to the next life, and there are others, and we'll all go through it. Like in this lifetime, you might be happily married, from a teenager, junior high school, you meet the love of your life, y'all live together forever. The next life, you might be the most single motherfucker on the planet, just getting ran through. Okay. And the next life, it might be a little, just off and on type of relationships. Somebody even told me we shouldn't judge gay people, homosexual people, because one day you'll be gay. You will go through a lifetime where you are homosexual. And I was like, dang, man, shit. I had to marinate on that. I'm like, yeah, if we believe in reincarnation and you could come back as anybody or anything, you got to take that into consideration. You might have to take that into consideration. Okay. So, especially for people that's like bi-curious and all this type of shit. Hey, you might have been gay as fucking in a past life. That's why you feel like that. So, like, I'm on this journey, man, of like decoding life, decoding it. You know what I'm saying? I know the Bible and these spiritual books are for babes. It's for babes, man. It's for babes. The Bible even tell you that within itself, and when you was a boy, you ate, you did everything like a boy. When you became a man, you put your childish things away. And I'm not saying to put the Bible away, but it's deeper than these religious books, man. When I look at life, when I look at nature, what the Bible's trying to tell you is to go within. Christ is within. Love your brother as Christ loved the church. How can you say you love your brother and your sister? How can you say you love God but hate your brother and sister? Kill your brother and sister. Talk bad about your brother and sister. Okay? How can you say you love God and you are fucking stealing? You stealing from motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? How you say you love somebody and you steal from them? You talk bad about them. You just do all this stupid shit. Okay? So basically, man, life is beautiful. Life is beautiful, man. But for me, I'm gonna tell you what I did to realize that. To realize peace, to find peace. Because I think at the end of the day, y'all say day, I say yay. At the end of the day, everybody's looking for peace. Everybody's looking for peace. Everybody's looking for their element. Everybody's looking for their purpose. Some people's purpose, man, is to write books. Some people's purpose is to be the Mike Tysons of the world. You know what I'm saying? Just to be warriors, fighters, the Holy Evander Holyfields of the world, the Floyd Mayweathers, the Muhammad Ali's of the world, the um uh Martin Luther King and Malcolm X of the world. Some people's purpose is to be the Mother Teresa of the world. You know, some people's purpose is to be the Tupacs of the world. You know, my purpose is the land. My purpose is the land. I don't see, there was a time I wanted to be a rapper, but if I was a rapper or whatever, I was an entertainer, I'd be like Waka Flocka. I turn into a farmer. You know what I'm saying? I use money for farming. You know, it's a lot of people who have gone into different things in life only to realize that's not their purpose. Only to realize that's not their purpose. That was just a catalyst to fund their purpose or to build the the audience that would follow their purpose. You know, the audience following them this way just to realize they was going that way with it. Like Ray Higgins. Ray Higgins was a Christian pastor, and he got this whole church, and he moved everybody over from Christianity over to Kemet. You know what I'm saying? Over to conscious Kemet spirit. You know what I'm saying? And the whole church, basically most of the church, the people in the church, they're like, yeah, you right. This whole Bible shit, it's more to it than this. You know what I'm saying? So where people thought, they was going to church and becoming Christians, the man flipped it on them when he found out the truth, and brought them over to consciousness. You know what I'm saying? Conscious spirituality. So, like Tupac, if Tupac was still with us, like, I believe Tupac would have moved the whole nation, Jeff, generations of people from fucking toxic rap music over to more consciousness. You know what I'm saying? That's why they had to get Tupac and Biggie out of there. They had to get Tupac and Biggie beefing, because them two together, man, that would have been like Malcolm X and Martin Luther King teaming up. You know what I'm saying? They had to get rid of Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, because they was about to team up. You see what I'm saying? So, um, life is just about, man, doing your purpose, man, finding your purpose, and hold on. A lot of times you don't know your purpose. Okay, that's a whole nother thing. People like, yeah, you right, everything I hear what you saying, man, but shit, I don't know my purpose. I'm just out here fucking smoking and drinking, fucking and sucking, having babies. I'm doing what my mama did, doing what my daddy did, doing what my environment does. I'm just out here drinking, smoking weed, doing dumb shit, working at the warehouse, working at McDonald's, Burger King, whatever. I don't have no purpose. I don't know what my fucking purpose is. Everybody have a purpose, man. The reason why you don't know what your purpose is, even the Bible tell you, try the spirits. Try the spirits. Do different things. Do different things, man. I done boxing. I've been an artist, an airbrush artist. I've been a music artist. You know what I'm saying? I've been a contracting. I've done water sports. I've done a lot of things, you know what I'm saying? And man, when I figured out this land hack, I'm like, shoot, man, being in nature, I'm like, this is all I want to do. This all I want to do is be on some land with some water behind me or in front of me, whatever, on the side of me, whatever, and just enjoy this life, teach others to go back to the land, and that's just my purpose, man, forever. Grow my babies, my grandbabies up, great grandbabies up on the land, in which they'll have their purpose. You need me? They'll have their purpose. They'll have their purpose. You know what I'm saying? So everybody just have to do their purpose at the moment. You know what I'm saying? Your grandbabies, great grandbabies, your babies, they'll figure out their purpose. You know what I'm saying? And they'll move on and do their purpose. You see what I'm saying? Um do I believe some people purpose is to be murderers and killers, whatever, and whatever, bad people? No, I don't think that's people purpose. I think people fall into that. People fall into that, like Paul the Apostle was a killer, a murderer. He killed Christians only to become the greatest Christian, only to become the greatest Christ follower. Okay, the greatest apostle. Okay, so it's like a lot of times, people, again, you're a product of your environment, man. The Apostle Paul was a product of his environment. You know what I'm saying? He basically grew up being like a KKK member and then turned into like a Black Power leader. You know what I'm saying? Type of thing. To put that in perspective, this man was killing Christians, as the Bible say. Then he turned out to be, the greatest follower of Christ. You know what I'm saying? Teaching in the churches, the synagogues, everywhere, and stuff like that. So, you know, even Malcolm X, he was a pimp. You know what I'm saying? He was a drug dealer, all this type of stuff, to become one of our greatest leaders in the original people. You call it black people race. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you'll be a product of your environment and do negative things. Be a whore, a drug dealer, a prostitute, a murderer, whatever. And if you tap into your true purpose, man, you will find that, you know what I'm saying, you can use your negative things that you did in life to, you know what I'm saying, to be 10 times as great. You know what I'm saying? Now you can lead other killers, murderers, ex-prostitutes away from that. You see what I'm saying? So, um I hope this video has been inspirational. I hope this video has been motivational. You know, it's not for everybody, but I'm gonna tell you, man, just find your purpose. Whether your purpose makes you millions of dollars or not, because I know that's everybody. That's a lot of people's thing. Not everybody, but it's a lot of people's thing is to be rich and wealthy. Wealth is when you have so much resources that you can never be poor. There's three levels. There's being rich. Rich is you just have money. You just have money. Players, actors, rappers, they have money, and as soon as their career is over, they lose all their money. They lose all their money and they can't get it back. They can't get it back because they never built resources. Okay, they never had wealth. So when you have wealth, you have resources. That's why they call it a wealth of resource. That's why people use that term. Say, hey man, I got a wealth of resource. People don't say I have a rich of resources or rich of wealth. No, people say I have a wealth of resources. So what that means is you have so many resources, man. You got this brother over here, this sister over here, this person over here. You got a bunch of lands over here that if anything, if you ever lost everything, you could get it right back. You could get it right fucking back. Take an Amish man or woman. If they ever got caught up with the law, did time in prison, took all their land, whatever, man, they could go to another Amish community, out of jail or prison. Get it right back. Because they have a wealth of resources. Donald Trump, when he lost everything, he got it right back. He got it right back. Mike Tyson, when he lost everything, he got it right back. Because Mike Tyson is good friends with Donald Trump and so many people. You know what I'm saying? Resources, man, resources is worth more than money. It's worth, because you could have all, you see what I'm saying? But when you have resources, you could lose it 1,000 times and get it right back. I could never be poor again because I have too many resources. I know too much. I know too much, and I know too many people. I know too much. I know too many places. I've traveled. I know too many places. Too many things. I can never be poor. Ever. I can never be poor, never be broke. I can never be hungry. I know what to say, how to say it, when to say it. I have a wealth of resources. And then you have power. Power is the ultimate. Power is influence. That's why they get rid of anybody too influential. Because when you're too influential, man, you got resources. You know, when you're on Michael Jackson is power. That's power, man. Michael Jackson level is a God level. Man, you got people worshiping you. You got people falling out. You ain't even said a word. You just got on stage and people passing out. That's influence. When you have influence, like gang member leaders, gang leaders, you know, a gang leader could be on the streets and he or she influenced so many people. They just do as they say. The gang leader go in prison. They become the more powerful than the warden. You got gang leaders more powerful than the fucking wardens. The wardens got to go to the gang leader for permission for shit. You know what I'm saying? It's like if they ever touch that leader, I mean, their followers would just go bonkers. You know, you got people in this world that, man, they can't touch them because if they touch them, those people followers, man, it's like imagine if Jesus was really alive right now, like in 2026. If Jesus was really alive right now, performing miracles, doing everything he was supposed to be doing a long time ago, and the government came and killed him. Yo, the world would go crazy. The world would shut down the whole fucking government. People would be fucking, people would find every politician and fucking burn them at the stakes. I'm talking about black people, white people, racist, non-racist. Anybody who claimed to love Jesus would be trying to take out the government and everybody involved in government. Anybody who had anything to do with killing Jesus. You leaving now? Huh? So anyhow, let me get out of here, y'all. Love y'all. Peace. Get in the life. Your bag in there? Get in. Get in the life and land. Masterclass 754-229-0940. Love y'all. Peace.